Right, what's up guys? So welcome to episode 5 of the Bodybuilding and Business podcast. And today I'm extremely excited to be having Simon Watson, the owner of Watson Gym Equipment, on the podcast. So welcome, Simon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem whatsoever. It's actually funny because when I had this idea of actually doing the podcast, was at home training. I find that's when I come up with most of my ideas, even when I'm doing cardio or when I'm training. I said to Lucy when we were training, I said, do I really want to do like a podcast that's a little bit different, because there's so many fitness and bodybuilding podcasts out there and they're always based on macros, training, and it's very repetitive. And I said I would love to do one but tap into more of the business aspect of the fitness world, so people have had a successful business within the bodybuilding and fitness community. And the first guest I said, I was like, I would absolutely love to get Simon Watson on from Watson Gym Equipment, because I've been a big fan of Watson Gym Equipment for so long, and obviously I know you're quite local, so literally you were the first guest that I had in mind, so I really appreciate you coming on.
That's great to hear. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. So I think before we obviously go into the detail in regards to the gym equipment itself, just quite interested to know a little bit of background about yourself. So more in regards to your life prior to obviously building this empire that we're sitting in now.
Yeah. Okay. I left school at 16.
Okay. Yeah.
Wasn't amazing at school. Didn't really do anything significant, and probably any of my teachers would have said I probably won't amount to anything incredible, which is maybe what drove me a little bit. But left school at 16 and I started an apprenticeship in aeronautical engineering.
Okay.
So I was working at a place called Boscombe Down where they test military aircraft. Various testing. So I did a 4-year apprenticeship there, 16 till 20. And then I stayed on for another 4 years. So I was there until 24 and got a really good engineering kind of background and understanding. It's quite mundane, the things they teach you, but it really grounds you with good engineering knowledge.
Okay. Yeah.
Which at the time I couldn't really see the value in, but later years setting up this, I realised how important that was. So I was there till I was 24. Then I went travelling for a couple of years, did the usual Middle East, Australia, US kind of thing. Then I came back at age 26.
Yeah.
And I got a job in Chippenham, big caution actually, working for a company that reconditions food equipment. So you take big industrial bowl choppers and industrial food equipment, strip it all down, rebuild it, and then sell it on. It was a smallish company, probably 12, 13 of us. And it was busy. It was a real busy, hectic company. So, and it was a lot of welding. So there I learned to weld. Okay. So you kind of use the engineering knowledge I had from Boscombe Down, learned to weld there. But we were dealing directly with customers a lot of the time. So the boss would introduce you to a customer. The customer would say what they need, what they want, and you kind of work with them directly, which gave me good business kind of understanding. It was almost like the boss wasn't there, you were dealing directly with the customer, and you were seeing what they wanted and then fulfilling their needs. So 3 years there, getting a really good feel for fabricating and welding. And then I always kind of knew I wanted to do something for myself, didn't know what, but I knew definitely to work for myself would be, I was never really a team player, didn't like team sports. I liked sports where it was just me against everyone else. So wanted to work for myself, and then suddenly had this idea, because I was always into training, suddenly literally woke up one morning and thought, I know gym equipment. If I make some gym equipment and can sell it and make some extra money in my spare time, that would be an incredible thing to do. So as soon as I got that idea, I was hunting around trying to find somewhere I could build stuff from. Then I found a tiny unit, small, half the size of this office in Chippenham. Bought a tiny welding set and a cut-off saw, and then I just started making. I didn't have any customers, but just started making some benches and things. Put a little ad in a national magazine. Yeah. Started getting a few calls coming in, and then it just kind of took off from there, really.
Perfect. So when you're into training yourself, what kind of training was you doing?
Well, I used to compete cycling. I was big into cycling. Yeah. Cycling then, it was time trialing, but short distance, like 10 miles, which in cycling terms, a short distance was more power based.
Yeah.
So kind of got to know that squats are important for power. So got into my squats, and then through going to the gym, squatting, just really enjoyed training, like push myself in the gym.
Sure.
So yeah, I was just doing basic strength training back then.
So when using the gym tricks, normally people see that when it comes to setting up a business, you kind of see a gap in the market, see a problem, come up with a solution, and then obviously create a business or a product to bridge that gap. So were you training in the gym and you was using some equipment and you kind of thought, you know what, I could do this better? Or
no, I'd love to be able to look back and say, yeah, so I could see this gap, and I sort of strategically planned, but I didn't. I just thought, if you know, there's benches here, they're a bit tatty, I could probably make a new one.
Sure.
At least sounds good.
Yeah.
And that was it really. There was no plan. There was no big plan. All I wanted to do was make really strong kit that wouldn't break.
Yeah.
That was I could sell at a good price, not stupidly expensive, and still make a little bit of money, so now I could reinvest and make some more. But yeah, there was no big plan, no business plan or anything. It was very, very small, low key. So
when you woke up that morning and thought, you know what, I want to do this, how long was that process from that moment to then actually
I think it was a long time ago, but I think less than a month. I remember desperately hunting around trying to find, key was to find somewhere I could work from. So finding the place, and I think once I found it, I could get the key literally within a week. And it was a tiny place, and it was £500 for 6 months rent, including electric. So that shows you how small it was.
Yeah.
And it was like one socket on the wall.
Okay.
So I had 20 adapters coming out this thing.
That wouldn't pass these days.
It wouldn't, no, it wouldn't. But a tiny place. But it was, probably a month from getting the idea to actually having this little half garage that I was working from.
And at the time, were you still working in your previous job? You did it on the side?
Yeah, so I was still working full-time at this company. The company was really busy. They expected and wanted you to do a lot of overtime constantly. Didn't like people doing things on the side, and they got aware that I was in my spare time doing this thing that was now taking over my overtime. I was kind of spending most of my time planning my own little business, which they didn't like, and it was causing a bit of friction. So then I thought, I know, I'll take 2 weeks leave and really focus on the business, see if I can try and build it up into some, get some orders in and build it up into something. And the second day I was off, I had a letter saying, it's not working, don't come back, basically.
Oh, okay.
So that was it.
So you had no choice
but to make a go of it. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. And do you think that motivated you, because obviously you lost that kind of financial support from your job, and that kind of made you push a little bit harder?
I mean, back then I just had a girlfriend at the time, no real commitment. So I was never an ideal time to start a business, but it was probably as good as you could get. I could scrape by. I didn't really have money saved, but I had enough to see me through a few weeks. So I wasn't really relying on selling a certain amount of stuff immediately. I knew I could get by.
Do you remember the first products that you actually built?
I recently came across a load of pictures, because back then, to market anything, I didn't have a digital camera. It was probably 99, was probably just when digital cameras were coming out, I think. So I had a traditional camera. So I'd make something, take a picture, go to Boots, get like 20 copies developed, and then send those out to people to see if they wanted to buy. But I came across some of these old pictures. So the very first product was a flat bench, just a completely flat bench. I sprayed everything then, instead of it wasn't powder coated, it was sprayed. So I sprayed it white, and I had a black upholstery pad on there. So right from the start, I was making upholstery. I was making every part of it. So it was a bench, and then I did a shoulder press bench. Then I did an adjustable bench, and then there was a customer in the New Forest who ordered a leg press. And I'm pretty sure it was about £450. I said I'd charge for it, and he paid me £200. And I said, I'll get it to you within 2 months. And then I had to desperately find how to make so I have no idea how to make a leg press. I didn't have any any CAD software or anything to produce it on. So I did little sketches, and it was really trial and error. You kind of make something, cut it apart again, tweak it, and change it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in those early stages you started, obviously now marketing, I'm not going to say it's easy because social media is still challenging, but you've got the ability to market so much easier.
It's very different. Yeah. In terms marketing now, you can start a business and immediately look like a big professional setup and really specifically reach people very easily.
Yeah.
That's good. That's easier. But now it's much harder because everyone's doing whatever idea you come up with now, there's 20 other people doing it quicker, faster. So it's harder to actually probably get things off to get your head above everyone else now.
Absolutely.
But in terms of quickly reaching people, it's definitely a lot easier now. I mean, back then, like I said, with the pictures, somebody would call up. I'd say, right, I'll send you some pictures, what we do, because there was no website, obviously. Yeah. So you'd have to wait 2 days for them to get the pictures. Yeah. Then you call them up again. Did you get them? Do you like what you see? Yeah. You know, it was just a slower process.
So what kind of things did you do in the early stages to try and grow the market and get more customers?
One thing I did a lot of was to make things, because I was making things that hadn't actually sold. I was just making things to prove to myself that I could make them and practice. Yeah. Just practice the new trade. So quite often what I do is make something, drive around to local gyms and say, look, let me just put this in to your gym. Just use it for a week. I'll come back next week. If you don't want to buy it, I'll take it away. No problem. Knowing that once they put it in and all their clients get on it and use it, they're not really going to want to take it out. So then it was a case of going back and just negotiating some deal that we were both happy with. Absolutely. So that got loads of kit out the door into places. Yeah. And then on top of that, marketing just carried on. My little ad in the Show magazine carried on. So it was getting to the point where most days I'd have a couple of calls come in. Yeah. This is probably 6 months, a year down the line. So it took a while. Yeah. But a couple of calls and I'd follow up on everything. You just completely follow up until they either bought or told me to. Yeah. So and it just very slowly built, but very up and down because it was just me for at least 2 years. Yeah. You get an order. I remember if I had an order for like 3 or 4 machines, that was a big order. I had to really focus on making it, then deliver it. And in that time, you're not following up so much. Yeah. So you make it, deliver it, and then get the money. You think, great, I'm rich now. And then 2 days later, all the money's gone on your parts and things, and you're starting again from scratch. It was very, very up and down.
So how long was the process of you being a one-man band to thinking, John, actually, I can make this into a really big scalable business?
Oh, scalable years, probably 10 years before. Okay. Probably 10 years. So into the second year, I took on one guy who was with me for a couple of years. So after a couple of years, took on somebody and then somebody else, and for a long time there was 3 of us. It was a team of 3. Probably up to 6 years in. It was a team of 3 with maybe 1 or 2 others that came in when we were really busy. So it ran like that for a long time. And it was only really when I started getting into marketing and understanding business, reading and learning about business, because I think especially in the UK, loads of people just seem to think that business is different to anything else, where business is a skill you learn like a language or playing tennis or anything, and if you with anything, if you speak to people who have done it and are good at it, or you go to seminars or you read books, then you get much better. Yeah. So at that point, sort of 6-7 years in, I started reading loads of books, going to seminars, paying money to go to seminars, and then looking back now, you can see how it just ramps up so quickly then. Yeah.
So when it comes to obviously recruiting, like you said, there was 3 of you. So what kind of skills were you looking for to try and develop a team? So I know a lot of people say that ideally you recruit around your weaknesses. Was there any kind of tactics in regards to the first team members?
One thing I know is definitely helped me get to where I am is doing everything initially, doing the accounts myself, doing everything, the marketing, everything. So generally back then, anyone I was taking on was to help me because most of the time it's taken up actually making. There's only so much stuff you can make in a week.
Yeah.
So anyone I took on then was a welder, a fabricator, somebody, maybe deliveries, helping with deliveries.
Yeah.
But certainly nobody office-based. I wouldn't trust anyone back then speaking with customers. I didn't think they'd be able to just really do it as well as I was doing then. Probably wrong. I know now wrong because we've got incredible salespeople now, far better than me. So really it was just people helping with the nitty-gritty of making things. That's what I was taking on initially. But it was scary because you look at it, or I looked at it the wrong way back then. It was always an expense. You take somebody on, you think it's going to cost me, 20,000 a year, and you're always worried about that, rather than the way I look at it now is that person's going to bring this value or this, this into the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it takes time. I think you've got to go through that hard bit to get to that point.
It's good that you've kind of done it all and walked the walk, so you kind of know all the different intricate details of the business to then.
100%, and definitely even now, like the machines we were looking at, I know how to run. I do the training course on all these machines, so nobody can bullshit me on anything. I know how long things take, and that definitely helps. I see so many people with biggish companies who are running the company, and if suddenly everyone went home and there was one order they had to get out, they wouldn't know where to start. Whereas I could still weld something, I could run the machine and do whatever. It'd be a bit slow, but I could still do it. And that really helps because you know what people are talking about when they're saying how long something's going to take. Yeah, I think people respect it more as well, the fact you've done it, you've grown the business from literally in a garage with your welder to actually doing the first product. So people can kind of respect that and buy into the brand a bit more because of that journey, rather than just. I think it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you was obviously at that point then of like scaling the business, what was the biggest challenge that you found? Whether it was just like a lack of skill set, that was something that you were unsure about in like growing the business. What was the biggest challenge that you faced when trying to scale it?
Cash flow is always a big thing early on when you're really trying to grow. So I've always been into make some money and put it back into the business and grow it. But cash flow is always tough. But the main thing probably with any business when you start scaling it and you're taking on more people is staff. Getting really good staff. And for years we'd be so busy, so you're almost desperate to take somebody on. So you advertise a job, first person that comes in that can do the job, you kind of take on, and then realise later their mindset isn't, the type of, they're not the type of person you really want within the business. Their culture doesn't fit with ours. Their core values aren't the same. So now we spend much more time looking at the person rather than what they can do, and that's really helped. But back then, dealing with staff issues was a really big headache, and something I found really hard was knowing I had to kind of come away from the day-to-day, all the making myself, coming away from that and going more into managing everything and pushing us in the right direction. That I found really tough, and mainly because leaving work at night and going home but not feeling physically exhausted from lifting steel all day long and making things. It was weird. You go home clean, your hands are clean, and you feel like, have I really done a day's work? I struggled with that for quite a long time. Now I'd struggle going back to all the physical side of making things. But
well, it's heavy kit down there, isn't it?
It's surprising how fit it keeps you making stuff all day. But moving away from that and into the managing side was that was really tough. I'm a bad manager. I'm not good at managing. I'm good at kind of seeing our vision, deciding where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. But the actual managing of people was never something I was particularly good at. So getting some key people that could manage everyone was one of the best moves like 10 years ago. Okay, perfect.
So in regards to mistakes then, we've all made them. So what would you say that your biggest mistake has been, if you've made one, when obviously growing the business? Is there any kind of key kind of, that was not a good move to make?
I've made loads of mistakes, but they're kind of important because you learn.
Absolutely,
I can't think of anything specific that I've done that really stands out? Just yeah, I need to think on that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
But there's nothing I regret. There's nothing I think, why the hell did I do that? I mean, there is lots of things I do differently now, but I think you need to go through that hardship and things to appreciate the right way of doing things.
And if you didn't make those small mistakes throughout the way and learn from them and grow and develop, then you might not be in a position that you made that. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So when it comes to now, obviously the processor, you've got a huge infrastructure here now. So when it comes to this is a new bit of equipment that we want to bring out, what does that kind of process look like now? Because obviously I imagine at the start it was all yourself, actually I want to make this bit of kit, or somebody's ordered it, you figure it out and obviously put it into practice. So what does that process look like now? Is it yourself, or do you have a team of people? Do you get people in different gyms and go, drop this bit of equipment, maybe we could do this better, or there's a gap in the market for a new bit of equipment? What does that process look like for developing a new bit of equipment?
It's still me that I do all the design. It's just me that does the design. Really good team here, so once I've got the design I can give it to them and they do get it all working. But much harder obviously at the start because I haven't made anything, and so my skill set was much lower then, and also I didn't have the 3D modeling and things that we've got now, so it's much quicker and easier now in terms of my skills, a lot higher, and the access I got to really good software makes things much easier. In terms of what we're making, it's a combination of us here deciding what would be another good thing to bring out, and customers, and people like Ben Pikowski, people like this I speak to a lot and kind of suggest things we can do better and improve, because we can definitely always improve. I never want to be kind of thinking, we've nailed this. I mean, our dumbbells, said myself, they are the best dumbbells you can buy in the world, but I'm always looking at ways of making them better and improving, so we don't rest on our laurels at all. But I'm always listening to feedback and encouraging feedback from customers, because you deliver stuff and customers love telling us how great it is, and it's really good to hear that. But we do try and draw out any, what could have been better. And generally, if you ask people, what could have been better, they're more inclined to give you some good feedback rather than was there any issues. So we take on board anything there and improve not just the actual machines, but the processes, how things were delivered, just the whole buying process all the way through.
It gets people more involved in the brand as well, because if there's a machine and they've kind of noticed actually maybe this could have been slightly better, feed it back to the person that is actually in charge of it, and then maybe you make those tweaks. It kind of makes them feel like they're really involved in the process as well.
Exactly. One thing I've learned, you can't keep everyone happy. There's always, you have machines that so many people absolutely love, and people you genuinely know would give you other feedback if it was the case, but they love it. When you get other people who just don't get on with it at all, so you can't keep everybody happy.
But biomechanically, everybody's slightly different anyway, aren't they? So you're never going to be able to make one bit of kit that is the perfect movement for every single person, because biomechanically people move differently. People's mind muscle connections, people have got the ability to do it or not.
Which is why a lot of machines now over the last few years we brought in pre-moving arms, handles that rotate, just everything, so you can it's giving you roughly the path you're going to be using, but then you can fine tune it to suit your own biomechanics.
Absolutely. So obviously your relationship with Ben, I'm a huge bodybuilding fan, so I was a big fan of Ben's growing up. I met him at Mr. Olympia. It must have been about 5 years ago, and he was walking past me and I was a bit starstruck. And so I was like, hope you don't mind me asking, but could you give me some top tips on how to train calves, because mine are stubborn. And he actually stopped there and gave me the time of day and actually had a chat with me. Then in the middle of the Olympia, and he kind of taught me about rotating my ankles inwards and focus on pushing up the ball of my feet. And ever since I've done it, still haven't got great calves, but they're not as bad as they were. So
Ben's I was in Bath with Ben year before last. Just walking through Bath, and the guy just, we were deep in conversation, and the guy just comes, Ben Pikowski. And Ben could have easily said, hi, quick picture and walked off. He spent like 10-15 minutes chatting to this guy. He genuinely wants to give
he's very personable,
his knowledge
isn't he?
and information out to people. So really, really good guy and so knowledgeable.
Yeah, he
so
is massively
scientific the way he looks at everything.
So how did that relationship start then with you and Ben to obviously for help? Because I know he helped develop some bits of equipment, didn't he? Which was mainly the bench. Is that right?
The first product we did with Ben was I think the narrow bench, so you can retract your scapula.
You took that to the Body Power, didn't you?
Yeah, before that though, we took it to the Arnold Classic the year before. Okay. So I first met Ben in Melbourne. It would have been the 2015 maybe Arnold Classic. Charles Poliquin was there as well. I mean, that was such a great show. We had Ben was on our stand, Charles was on our stand. We had people queued just with quite a small stand, but it was the busiest, buzziest stand there. It's a really incredible time that was. And spent loads of time chatting to Ben and Charles of just about various products, how we can improve things, what new things we can come out with. But that's when I first met Ben, and then always stayed in touch from then. And got to know a lot of his sort of scientific ways of the way he's very much into grounding any machine to the more you can be grounded into machine, like locked down, so you're only moving the parts you want to be moving and moving.
So I saw his review on the on like kind of like the pronated row bench. And he was talking about like the force versus force. So the more you're able to force your obviously chest and your body into the pad, it allows them to do the force and contract the back a lot better. So exactly. I was watching it. That's very good.
I always thought before Ben, I thought I had built up a really good understanding of biomechanics, and I could look at machines and get a really good idea how they operate. But then when you speak to Ben, it's just different level, and you realise there's so much more to learn.
So when it comes to bringing out a new piece of equipment now, like, what is the process in regards to, okay, so I'm bringing out this new bit of equipment, you've got the idea, you've put it in place, it's been welded, it's there. Is it like a trial product, like a trial and error product?
It depends what it is. If it's totally new, if it's something completely new, we put it into some gyms with people we know who can trial it. Generally, a lot of people trained here, we know how something should feel. Mechanically, whether the machine is up to the task to last, we know that. I can test that on software I've got to show stress, moments of movement and things. We can check all that, so we know the machine will last. So it's more a case of checking if it biomechanically works as it should, which we tend to do here. And then it may go into a gym with some people we know to test out further. But generally, then at that point, we sell it as that machine, and it pretty much always hits the mark. We might get feedback with something could be improved somewhere, which we then incorporate into a new design and either retro change the ones that have gone out, or whatever, depending on what it is.
Absolutely. So in regards to that's been 12 months now during like the lockdown and the pandemic. Obviously, there's been a bit of a shift in the fact that there's a real focus now on home gyms, home gym equipment. And obviously gyms have been pretty much closed for I think about 9 months of the past year. So how has that impacted on your company, either from like a positive aspect and a negative aspect? Have you seen like a shift in what people are buying?
I think I said before that our typical customer is probably a slightly higher end gym. So they, with the initial lockdowns, this is worldwide, with the initial lockdowns, they didn't panic as some gym owners did and sell equipment to bring money in, which I know some gyms needed, which is a real bad situation. But generally, our customers looked at the lockdowns as a way to invest in new kit. So when they did reopen, they were in a better place. So commercially, we were worried initially we'd lose a lot of commercial orders. We run on a kind of 3 or 4 month lead time. So people pay a deposit. And then they wait 3 months or so to get their order. So we thought initially, is there going to be a lot of cancelled orders? We're paying back a lot of deposit money. That didn't happen at all for those reasons, because generally our customers thought, okay, we use this time well. And then on top of that, in the UK, the home market exploded.
Absolutely,
massively exploded. So our focus was always, and our priority was always fulfill the orders. The customers that have been loyal to us always, so commercially mainly, look after those, and then any spare capacity went into these new home people training at home that needed good kit.
Absolutely.
So then we developed a few machines to suit that market, because it's not, the home market isn't something we were ever massively into.
Yeah.
We supplied good high-end home gyms, but if people wanted just cheap basic dumbbells, we didn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
So then we quickly came out with our eco plates.
Okay.
That combined with our dumbbell handles, so people can quickly make up dumbbells up to any weight. Very, very compact, very heavy duty, but cheap. So we brought out some products like that to suit the situation.
Absolutely, because I know initially, like getting dumbbells, getting weight plates, getting barbells, it was literally like unicorn dust. It was just impossible.
Yeah,
to
and
get.
The crazy price. Argos stuff going for ridiculous money. So that kind of drove us to think, it's people take a massive advantage of that, which doesn't seem right. So so we just came out with some really good products that are cheap, but do the job really well. We had to market them as what they are. So I did a video on our eco plates saying, they are bare steel. If you leave them in the rain, they're going to rust. But if you just want cheap, good quality plates, very compact, then these are perfect.
Absolutely. So in regards to if you're looking at kind of 2020 versus kind of 2019, did the business grow because of the home market, or decline, or did it kind of level off?
No, it's growing. We're growing anyway. Generally, over the last 8 years, we've grown between 30 and 35% year on year.
Wow.
So we knew we were growing anyway. We knew we were building the new factory, and that was going to jump. So we're growing about 50% over this next year. It's a big jump because of the sudden increase in capacity. So we knew we were growing anyway, but this we grew more than we thought, a bit more, but it changed. Order value dropped down a lot. Average order value dropped down a lot. But more of them, which challenged our paperwork side of things, our account systems. Suddenly you're dealing with a lot more volume of orders for smaller value. So it was just a learning curve dealing with doing things a slightly different way. But interesting and really useful and good.
Because in regards to the majority of your clientele that buy equipment, is it mainly like your independent gyms? Because I know I've been to a lot of independent gyms. It's quite common that I will see Watson gym equipment in there, and obviously the home gym market. Is there any aspirations to try and go? When I say commercial gyms, it's more like your big, multiple chain gyms.
Yeah, no, we try. We do stay away from. We've supplied Fitness First.
Okay.
With key products, with products, specialist products, animal leg presses, that type of thing that they wouldn't get elsewhere. But it's not our market. It's not where we want to be. Our typical customer is a privately owned gym, or maybe a small chain of gyms, UP gyms, Ultimate Performance. That's more our typical customer, high-end, independently owned gym or PT studio. Or there's other markets we're in as well, like the high-end, kind of high net worth people. We do a lot of work there with sports people and kind of the celebrity side. We're trying to push because it's really interesting work. It's all very bespoke and different. So we're trying to push that as well, but it's a separate kind of market. But the bread and butter is privately owned gyms, and our order book at any one point is at least 60 to 70% repeat customers. People that have bought before.
That's good. I think a lot of the reason behind that is because normally people that own independent gyms usually have an interest in training themselves. Like every bodybuilder, every fitness person, including myself, I would love to one day have like my own private PT studio. And you tend to find that you have more of an interest and more of a passion of what kit goes in. Whereas, I've managed, large corporate chain gyms for the past 10 years, and they don't really necessarily, I wouldn't say care, but they wouldn't really know the difference in regards to, this chest press machine versus the benefits of a different chest. All they want is just one company to come in that can do an okay job of kitting out everything at the cheapest possible deal.
That's why we stay away from the bigger companies, because there's only so many products we can make. We've got no issues getting orders in. The issue for us is making it and getting it out. That's for a long time now been the issue. So there's only so much that we can make. So I want the stuff we make going to places where people really get the benefit and appreciate
Absolutely,
it. I'd much rather that than just supplying some big, corporate orders where it kind of gets lost there. I wanted to, have that going right back to when I started. It was just such an exciting thing to make something and then see people using it and like really benefiting from it. That's such a good feeling. I've still got that now, so I still want to make sure the stuff goes to the right place and gets used in the way it should.
And I think, what one said, just for me spending time here today, and you give me a tour of the place, you've still got that real passion for good quality gym kit. It'd be very easy now to sit back, pay somebody else to run the day-to-day, but you're still in here, walking the workshop, testing the kit, and you can tell when you're talking about it, you're talking about the different products, that you've got that element of passion and excitement, and I think that is what kind of sets you apart to a lot of other people that just want to make a quick buck off it.
I love the job. It's incredible, and making new products and seeing them getting made. It's really exciting. It's really good. So sometimes I have a day off and there'll be something new being made, and I know it's going to be made, powder coated, and going out quickly, and I don't want to miss it. So I'll come in just to see it and try it. So absolutely, it's the best job in the world.
Good. And if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right?
Exactly. Everything's easy then.
So we're obviously in the growth, obviously, like you say, you're growing, 30-35% each year. Was it like a pinnacle moment that you remember, or a pinnacle year where you absolutely exploded, or was it gradual? Because for me as a consumer and someone that absolutely loves training and gym equipment, I think I kind of came across Watson initially was through obviously following Ben. And you was at the Body Power one year, and I remember Ben was there and he was kind of showcasing the new bench that you had. And Tom Blackman actually had that in pretty soon at Ministry at Fitness in Bristol. I used to train there a lot. That must have been 2000. I'm trying to think, 2015, 2015.
You would have been, it was around then.
Yeah,
it was around then.
So can you? Has there been like a pinnacle point where like you've exploded, or you've kind of made more than the 35% growth?
It was definitely, when I said about learning about business, I did a seminar, it probably would have been 2009, 2010. It was called Renegade Millionaire, I think it was called. It was, I can't remember who it was now. It was an American copywriter, Dan somebody, can't remember his name. Very well known at the time, American copywriter. And it was a 3-day seminar in London, just teaching you about kind of how to view your business and what you should be focusing on, and loads and loads of mindset, just like loads of mindset. And literally from doing that, things just started happening. And I remember a few months after looking back and thinking, was it just chance, all these opportunities have suddenly come up and we're now quickly expanding, or is it to do with that? And looking back now, 100%, it was that seminar changed my mindset, got me thinking in a much bigger way. And from then we started on a good trajectory of growth, whereas before that it was just very up and down, growing very slightly the first 10 years, growing slightly, but just very kind of up and down, and then suddenly a strong growth after that. And it was really mindset. That's what it came down to.
So during that kind of first 10 years where it was a bit of a slog and a bit of a graft, was there any moments in there that you kind of sat back and thought, is this really worth it? Or did you always kind of have that drive to grow?
It wasn't worth it in terms of money. I mean, I made for 10 years nothing. I'd have made loads more money if I just went back welding. But never once didn't want to do it. I just really loved it. I really, I probably at the time thought, this is it for the rest of my life. I'm not going to make money or anything, but I don't care. I'm just doing what I enjoy. My dad died when I was young, and I remember he always used to say to me, just doesn't matter what you do, just do what you enjoy. You don't stress life, just do whatever you enjoy. So I'm glad I stuck at it, and you can see why most people don't get to that point where their business actually takes off, because for any business, especially now, it's tough as everyone's doing everything. So to reach that point, you have to go through that really hard graft, just years and years of just repetitive, same mundane thing. But if that's why you choose something you enjoy.
Yeah.
And then you finally get through it, and things get easier, you know. And now it's nice. So really, I can come to work without stressing about, you know, money. The money side is always that's like the stress that is proper stress.
Yeah.
Now we've got, you know, building factories and things. There's always stress going on.
Yeah.
It's fun stress.
Yeah.
It doesn't get down. It's just, I've got to sort that. I've got to go here. I've got to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you buzz around. Just saying, it kind of feels like you're alive, you know.
Absolutely.
Rather than the heavy stress of, you know, sleepless night style stress. But yeah, early on it was, I didn't think it would really go anywhere big, but I just enjoyed it, loved it, just wanted to keep making things.
So what is the main thing that kind of drives you and motivates you to continue to keep building the business, building the brand, obviously expanding like you're doing? What is the main kind of key thing that motivates you? Is it to, you know, have Watson known, you know, worldwide for forever, or is it, you know, the financial gain? What is it that motivates you?
The main thing is to, because we're limited, as I said, on what we can make. The main thing is to reach loads more people, because all us in here, we have our meetings and things, and you're so used to things, you think that every gym in the UK knows about us, and but we don't. When you go to a show, you realise the amount of people. Oh, I never heard of you. Didn't realise that so many people. Okay, UK, we're getting known now. But Australia, US, US, probably 2% of people in the US know about us. So we want to reach loads more people. Loads of people benefiting. There's products we make that nobody else makes. And make for a really good price. You know, people getting massive value. We want to get that value to as many people as possible. That's what drives me to keep expanding. Otherwise, we just keep it contained as we are now. But expanding is something we need to do to be able to reach all those people. I find it fun as well. I enjoy, you build a factory and then you go and look at equipment and the robots and things to put in there. I enjoy that. So it's fun, but the whole drive behind it is to get our products to more people all over the world. And it's a huge market, and we're scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
There's a huge amount more to do.
I think the fitness industry is just absolutely skyrocketed. I think it's going to continue, and I think partly social media has got a big part to play in that, because I remember when I was a young kid, you know, I grew up in Hull, so it was a bit more of a rogue area, but it was always like, you know, who could drink the most White Lightning on a weekend, who could do that. It was more that was like what made the alpha male when I was a kid. But now it's like, you see young kids in gyms and on social media, it's like, who's got the best six pack, who's got the, you know, the biggest chest and things like that. So there's a real, and it's great that it's moving in the right direction, but you're right. And although it's quite a saturated market, I think there's a big enough cake for everyone to have a decent chunk out of.
Definitely. And as bad as all the COVID situation's been, I really think at the end of everything, governments are going to look back and think, okay, this obesity thing, you know, we've got to do something about it, and it's just going to help the industry, I think, long term.
So what are your kind of long-term aspirations then for Watson in the future? Do you have any kind of milestones or any like you know, key achievements that you'd like to achieve?
Well, I set goals all the time. I always spend my early mornings reviewing and setting goals, seeing where I am with things. But it really is pushing out to more. There's certain countries we want to get more into. The US is a big one we really want to push. Australia's great for us. It has been for a long time. We've got Australia nicely covered, but so we want to bring that more to the US and the Middle East as well, which is we've struggled a bit in the Middle East. It's a different culture, and getting big amounts of equipment in there is quite tough. So we want to learn more there and definitely grow there. But US at the minute is a big one. We want to
so I watched a video when you said that you wanted to be the world leaders in strength equipment.
Well, leading in strength equipment, definitely specialist strength equipment, which I think for certain products we're there. And I want to just bring a lot more to that mix. Leg equipment, very well known for. I think we do incredibly well there. Dumbbells, obviously, now our weight plates. A few years ago, the plan was to lead in customization. I feel we're kind of there now with so many gym owners want their logo, they want to push their brand, so customization is really important. I think we've reached that. So on that side of things, is bringing more machines up. Our selectorized machines, I want to work a lot more on bringing those up to a higher standard.
And absolutely, so I think with those kind of multi-use equipment as well, like you say, with more PT studios now, people working you know, and training from home, there's such a bigger market for us I don't really think anyone has ever really nailed them amazingly. Because I know if you go to a lot of hotels and you travel, they've got the kind of multi-use equipment, and you're never going to get it perfect. Don't get me wrong; it's never going to be as good. But I think that there's quite a way that companies can go to make that piece of equipment a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're right in the customization, because I absolutely love the Watson dumbbells. Like whenever I go to a gym and you see that they've got the Watson gym dumbbells in there, like with the branding on that, it just looks sexy is the best way to describe it.
Yeah,
You know that they've got a passion for their brand and the quality of gym. Like my aim at the moment is I want a set of 55 and 60s with my logo on them, and then eventually then getting the whole set, because that is just going to be out of this world having it in there.
I just remember then, so with a certain thing that changed, one of them as well was Charles Poliquin, who always used to recommend books to me. He recommended a book called The Pumpkin Plan, where it's all about going very, very niche, cutting out everything, all the clutter, and just 80-20, basically focusing on your niche. And that's something I did again back in probably 2012, something like that. Cut out loads of stuff we were selling, focused on the key products, and that massively helped. Then all your attention's on that, that small niche, and you then become the experts rather than a company that does a bit of everything. You focus on that one thing, and then people come and find you because you're the experts in that area.
So you mentioned that in some areas you are world leaders at the moment. What are the areas that you don't feel like you're quite there yet, and who are like your main competitors there that you might feel that are there, or maybe edging you on a few?
Yes, there's companies that I think with most of our products, in terms of value, because I always look at things with value, I think we do well with value. There's companies that make better selectorized kit. Atlantis in Canada makes some incredible, really good. Prime Fitness used to be Stride. Prime Fitness makes some incredible products. But I still think in terms of value, what you're paying for the product, we're there. But there's things I want to do to improve the feel and look of our mainly selectorized kit at the minute. I always think with anything you buy, there's like a curve that kind of flattens off at the top. So if you buy a push bike for £200 compared to one for £500, massive difference. £500 to £1,000, big difference, and then £1,000 to £3,000 kind of flattens off. And then a £3,000 bike to a £20,000 bike, most people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. So I always aim for our products to be at that point where you get maximum value before it starts flattening off. People are paying a lot more for not much more. So I always aim for that kind of top sweet spot there. And I think on most things we are. But what's helping is like the new factory and the robots and things we're bringing in is going to make the cost for us to produce things less, meaning we can add loads of value to it without putting the prices up. So we can, like we're at a good point where we're a small enough company we can change and adapt really quickly. But the facility we've got, especially when the factory's built, we've got an incredible manufacturing facility with state-of-the-art equipment. Normally, companies with that type of equipment are so big they can't change. They're making their products. If somebody wants it a bit lower, sorry, you can't do it. And I'm going to make sure we stay around that point where we can change quickly, but still be super efficient at manufacturing. So then we can add even more value.
So you've got the perfect balance of efficiency and flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Most other companies that can change quickly, it costs them a lot to make things because they're doing it in a very slow, manual way.
Absolutely. So when it comes to kind of like prioritizing, like the overall aspect of the business. So if there's like the four elements that you've got, product being 1, customer service being 2, team being 3, and then profit being 4, how would you kind of rate those where you see the most or least important? So product, customer service, like the team and people, and then obviously profit.
It's hard because they all come together. I'm certainly not money based, but as a company, we need to be making profit so we can reinvest. So we're here in 10 years' time to look after, and honour our lifetime warranty. So we need to be a profitable company. But money's not a focus. So it really is a combination of all those. Customer service goes hand in hand with everything. Products, no matter how good you are at marketing, I see this all the time, companies so focused on their marketing and trying to reach as many people as they can, whereas if they just focused on what they're offering, stepped up what they're offering, people would find them. If you've really got to push people to and have these 20 touch points before they actually buy, then maybe something's not, your product isn't that good. Because if you're offering something amazing to the right type of people, they will buy it.
Absolutely.
If they're not buying it, you've got to think, rather than look at your marketing and how can we change the wording, look at your product. Because if I know if I see something really, really good and the price is right on it, I'll buy it. The only reason you don't is because it isn't as good as what people making it think it is. So I'd say all goes quite hand in hand. That customer service is really, I'm really, really strict on how quickly we get back to people, making sure we're listening to the questions. A few years ago, we had this issue where you'd look at some of our guys' responses to customers and they're not answering the question, so we've had loads of meetings and things. Now everyone understands, really try and see what the customer's asking here and then answer them rather than having loads of emails backwards and forwards. Because I know if I email a company something, it's just nice to get a good email, answer my question back. If I've got to go back again, I probably won't bother. I'll probably go somewhere else. So customer service, looking after customers, we're very customer based, customers. We pick and choose our customers carefully. We won't just sell to anyone. But when we choose a customer, we're really go out our way to look after them.
Absolutely. I think one of the strengths you've got in regards to customer service is that you're accessible as well. So a lot, I'm dealing with a company at the moment, and you're always just getting the messengers, relaying the messages back. So it's good that people have kind of got the face to the brand as well, which a lot of big companies, a lot of other gym equipment companies, like you don't know who is the senior person or the owner on there. You want to kind of speak to the people there.
Yeah, I agree. I think having the name as well is something that's accidentally helped.
Yes.
Because originally I was going to find a good name for the company, never did, kept it as Western Gym Equipment.
Did you have any other names that were kind of...
Probably did, can't remember now, but I remember spending time thinking, what name should we give it? And then time went on, and then it became quite hard to change the name, you have to change all the bank and everything. So we thought, I thought, let's just keep it Watson Gym Equipment.
Absolutely.
Glad
it's worked, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So in regards to like the future, do you have like a strategy? So are you looking to keep it within the family business, or do you have any kind of future aspirations for the business, like an exit strategy?
No interest in bringing anyone else in. It's just me. My wife's a director for tax reasons. No, she's not involved at all in the business. Would never want to sell. There's no plan to sell out of the company. I've got 2 kids. At the minute, they're not showing much interest in coming here. One of my goals is to be 90 and still coming in, looking around, seeing what's going on. I want to be, just as it is now, but bigger. No plans to sell out.
And I think what you said then is so key, and why I think your company is doing as well as it is, because you'd be at the position very soon, or if not now, where there's enough money in the bank to kind of, you and your family enjoy the rest of your life somewhere sunny. But the fact that you want to still keep working until you're 90 and you're so passionate about it, I think that is just key in itself. And I think that's why Watson are where they are now, and what it's going to be in the future, because you've got that passion to constantly want to be in the trenches, wanting to be support, because as the business grows and grows and grows, you don't necessarily need to be involved in the trenches as much as you can. You can recruit people to do that, and you can be sat on a beach somewhere enjoying a cocktail. But like you said, you've got that passion to come in when there's new bits of equipment and stuff like that. And I think that's so great to see. And I think that's what separates really successful businesses from the unsuccessful ones is the passion and the drive, and the person that is obviously driving that kind of train forward. So that's so good to hear.
I mean, thought of retiring, I couldn't think of anything more. Probably drive my wife crazy as well.
Are you quite an active person where you kind of struggle to switch off? Do you always kind of need things to kind of keep?
I need things to do. When we built this factory 4 years ago, it would have been. I'd never built anywhere before, so it was a big thing, real big project. And I remember at the end of it, when it was all done and we were in, I actually felt quite flat. So obviously still running the business and everything. There's plenty to do there, but just not having a big project again. So it was exciting getting involved in the next one.
Yeah.
And this was easier. But I've got a project lined up now with a few projects. One's our house. We're knocking our house down and rebuilding the house.
Well,
but after that, we've got more land beyond the new factory. So we're going to carry on building down there. So I purposely lined things up. So when that's finished, it's coming towards the end now. I'm not kind of flat and looking for something else. I've got things ready to dive straight into. So yeah, I need to be doing things.
Absolutely. So what do you like doing when you're not designing gym equipment? What do you kind of like doing in your personal life? Like any hobbies?
We love traveling. So we tend to alternate. We do breaks away with the kids. Obviously love holidays with the kids, but we do also like, me and my wife will go away on our own, even if it's a long weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like getting away traveling, and that's been tough last year, you know, not traveling. So hopefully soon we can get back to that. But yeah, just practical family. You know, got a 12 and a 9-year-old, so typical family life. Keeps them busy outside of here.
Absolutely.
I love cycling, but I don't really get time to go for a cycle, so I'll cycle to work and cycle home again. Then it's kind of making use of the time. That's pretty much
perfect. Good. Well, that has been an absolute fantastic conversation. And I just want to say thank you because you've taken the time out today to show me around the place. And I'm like a kid in the candy shop. I absolutely love gym equipment. Like whenever I go to a new gym or whenever I travel, like I just get excited about playing with new bits of equipment or see. I'm such a geek when it comes to gym.
It's a great industry because everyone all our customers we deal with, they're all passionate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's such a good industry to be in. It's really nice.
Especially when you can deliver a product and you see the happiness that they get from using a bit of machine. And I think some people outside of the industry don't really understand it, because when I was telling people about me coming today, I was like, I'm going to a place where they make this unbelievable gym equipment that I absolutely love. Everyone's like, okay, but like, unless you buy into the whole fitness journey, I don't really think they get it. But no, it's been amazing. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming in.
Not a problem whatsoever. Thank you.
Thanks.